Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Okay, our guest this morning is Honorable Ismail Gedaka. He's a former member of the House of Representatives, representing Fika Fune Federal Constituency in Yobe State. So thank you very much. He's also Secretary, Contact and Mobilization of the, now, shall we say, dissolved Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council. A fine morning to you, Honorable.
Morning, how are you?
Yes, good morning. Okay, let's have this conversation on the battle. I don't know, that's how they put it in the press. The battle for the position of Speakership of the House of Representatives. Okay, your party has zoned the office, just as they've zoned National Assembly offices. But give me your take, because some party members are not happy with the zoning. So what would be your situation? Are you happy with the way how the party has zoned it, or do you see it differently?
No, I'm not happy with the way how the party have done. I'm not happy how the party have done the zoning. I'm not abass, and I'm not against the party zoning the leadership of the National Assembly, but it has to be done correctly. It has to be done with consultation. It is expected that when party want to zone, they should be able to call the attention of all the aspirants, both in the Senate and in the House, so that aspirants will sit down, so the party will look at it critically and choose the one that can lead the party in both the Senate and the House. By doing so, no member will go against the party decision. But when things are done unilaterally, and even the members of the NWC, some of them were not even contacted, talk less of even. So you can imagine for a party to have a leadership in the National Assembly that was not being carried alone. Members are not being carried alone. What I mean members, those aspiring for the position of the Senate President and for the position of the Speakership were not carried alone. So the party just came out overnight that we have zoned this. And if you look at the zoning formula, if you look at the zoning issue, in the Senate, well, I can say there is no call, but in the House, when you look at in the Senate, the party zoned the Senate President to the South, and the Deputy Senate President to the Northwest. And you imagine a party can look at already Northwest has a Deputy Senate President, and they are zoning the Speakership to the Northwest. So you can see that way is against the federal character principles of fair sharing, equity.
Okay.
Indeed, that's all what members are looking at, and any loyal party member is looking at it differently, like myself. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, thank you, Honorable. Indeed, this point that you are making has consistently been brought up. There's also been some notion that the party probably needs to take another look at that. Why would the Northwest have, two of the four key positions in the top key positions in the National Assembly? But before we continue, Honorable, let me play this report on the subject matter, and then let's continue our conversation after this.
The coast is getting clearer for Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu to clinch the coveted seats of Mr. Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives. The Joint Tax Forum, an assembly of members-elect across party lines, meets to further strategize on delivering the party's choice as the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly draws near. Solidarity comes from the President of the Senate hopeful, Godswill Akpabio.
My late mother told me that I should be aware of the 3 G's. The first G is God Almighty. The second G is what? The God. And the third one is what? The government. May you conduct your affairs mindful of the admonition of my late mother by respecting the 3 Gs.
It's the first time Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila will be talking publicly on his decision to pitch tents with Tajuddin Abbas. He describes Tajuddin Abbas as a man with tremendous capacity to lead the parliament.
One of the reasons why Northwest wanted vice president. The president-elect decided to go to the Northeast. So the least he could do was to compensate them with the speakership in terms of what they bring to the table. It's as simple as that.
I am here to put on the record that not just from today, that right from day one, when the NWC, the National Working Committee of my party, put it on the table, that they have come up with a zoning arrangement. As from that date and day, I therefore called my bid to contest for the speakership of the 10th House of Representatives off.
Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu appreciate support received thus far. Their pledge is that they will not let their colleagues down.
We put our interest, what we are supposed to take home, by the end of that particular year, we were given only 30% of what was put in the budget.
As Parliament, to give to Nigeria what is the best. It is not about any party. So today, I join my colleagues to assure you that this is your home, a home where we will bet leaders.
Halazana Dodogwa's backing out of the race may have created a crack in the rank of the 7 aspirants known as G7. More aspirants are expected to toe the party's line in days ahead as members-elect count down to the proclamation and inauguration of the 10th National Assembly. Jokeatsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, then. So, in case you just joined us in the middle of that report, our guest is Honorable Ismail Gadaka, who is a former member of the House of Representatives and a party member. Okay, so Honorable Ismail Gadaka, you saw on that clip the explanation that it was not really an error, it was in the interest of fairness and equity. So this coming, you had just expressed that. How does anybody do the kind of thing that your party has done? That is not consult with people, which is what you said. But, maybe you want to take it from that report and Honorable Speaker Gbajabiamila commenting.
Thank you. I heard what my speaker just said. Speaker Gbajabiamila is the product of consultation for him to become a speaker. If you could recall, Gbajabiamila led the campaign in the opposition while we were in the 7th Assembly, led the opposition for Tambuwal to emerge as speaker. And that time, in the 7th Assembly, that time when Baja was among the leading minority caucus in the House, we all rallied behind him because I came under the ANPP, the then ANPP, the proscribed ANPP that formed the APC. So all that time when their party have zoned it to Mullikat, while the House, our members decided that we need Tambuwal. And it was done with consultation. All those aspirants that at that time that wanted to contest, they all joined Tambuwal. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the election on the floor, we won. And look at the antecedents of what happened in 2015 when we are holding the 8th Assembly. When we came into 8th Assembly, our party anointed Gbajabiamila. But even his anointment, it was a consultation. It was a consultation that we had. All aspirants were consulted and we all put our basket together. But along the line, something happened when we were called at the ICC. Before we come, already there was under tune dealing that before we come, election have already taken place in the Senate. while our people are already at the ICC. And that was how Baja lost that time, not that because we don't have the number. But now that in the 9th Assembly, when he came back and our party still came back for the second time, Baja was anointed, but it was a consultation. The President Deputy Speaker was a candidate, but he was called, his attention was drawn, the party drew his attention, and he withdrew in the best interest of the party, because nobody wanted to go against the party when you are being consulted. Nobody will go against the decision of the party when it is being consulted. And you look at it from day one, from the history of National Assembly leadership, there was never a time that a principal officer or an office have been zoned, two different offices have been zoned to a particular place, a particular zone, going by the fact that we have federal character principle in place. We respect federal character, we respect equity. And I see no reason why we allow, nobody is against Tajuddin. Tajuddin is a competent, is our brother, is our friend. But we should look at it. There are zones that doesn't have anything. They were not even, and if you look at their performance too, as the speaker is saying, the performance, North Central had really performed, because the North Central brought Aswaju with about 5 states out of 6 states. So I see no reason why we just leave North Central vacant. There's nothing to write home with. So in the House, federal character principle is seriously respected, and we believe in it. And what we are saying is that we want the party and the leadership of the government to reconsider their position, because once this thing is not about zoning, it's about members elect to come and elect their leaders. We can only talk outside, but when we are in the chamber, when we are at the floor of the chamber, members have the right. You are dealing with an institution, a learned institution, those that represent Nigeria. So we cannot just take it for granted and think we are good to go. And when you look at the House leader have never been part of the G7. Have never been part of the G7. House leader have never been. So if you want things that he back out, there is nothing like back out, because he was not part of them, talk less of backing out. So if today Gagdi or Jaji or Wase or Betra back out, we can say, or Princess back out, we can say yes. One have back out from the G7, but they are intact. So we don't want to allow a situation when the Ogara issue will happen again, will come back again to us. God forbid, we are not hoping for that. We want APC to continue continue producing the leadership of the National Assembly. Thank you.
Okay. Before I continue, let me bring on Uche, who has called in from Anambra State. Good morning to you, Uche.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning, the honorable. Okay.
Yes, please continue.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, this is Nick. I'm calling from Newi.
From Newi. All right. Go ahead, please.
Just like the honorable said, in my own view, I think the way, from my own understanding, the way it's being construed is they're supposed to, you understand, go to the house and elect their leaders. Yes, so what they should tell them to do is to make sure that if you are getting your leaders, make sure you get it from the geopolitical zones. We have 6 geopolitical zones in this country. I get it, me. So we have 4 remaining. So these 4 should be shared. The northwest, the north central, the south, and the southeast. I get it. So they should be shared. They should share it, not that one geopolitical zone should now have the deputy the president and also have the speaker. I mean, I mean, what are we even preaching? We are talking about, making sure that everything goes to all the regions. We are talking about equity. In fact, it was because of the equity that some of the governors came up, in the APC. They said, no. Because for what we had initially, when the chairman, Adamu, said that there is another candidate in the person of Ara. Not until another news now came up. So if the northern governors should come up and say no to that, so what is happening now? So let us be careful the way we speak from the two sides of our mouth. Let us just be careful, and so that this country that is called Nigeria will not, be having issues that are irrelevant. So as far as I'm concerned, this issue should be dealt with in the House. The House should take care of their own and do this, and at the end of the day, the leaders will emerge.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Uche, for contributing. And, Honorable Gadaka, just like you were saying, Uche is also reiterating that it's all about equity, it's about fairness. And but I can't but go back. I would like to imagine that the APC is a caring party, especially to its members. And the explanation apparently appears to be difficult, but there it is. You had it from Gbajabia Miller, who was explaining that, well, there are other considerations. Now, the question I wanted to ask you is, you said, may God let us not have a kind of situation that we've had in the past that was quite quincy to most people. Is there no way out of this if the party, well, I don't want to use the expression sticks to its guns, but in the light of the explanation, if the party leadership does believe that it has done what is appropriate, is there no room for rapprochement? Because if we go into the election like this, with these very hard, divisive lines of we're not happy with what you did because you didn't treat us right, might it not end up exactly where you prayed that may we never see that kind of thing again politically?
Well, thank you, my brother. There are a lot of ways we can. There is a lot of ways we can explore to resolve this issue. But I want to bring the attention of the Honorable Speaker, who is also the product of negotiation and contact. Because if you look at the 9th Assembly, how Baja came off, how Baja became the Speaker of the House, you know that there were very serious contenders, there are very serious negotiation and serious consultation. And in the spirit of stewardship and equity and peer hearing and peer sharing, the Deputy Speaker then, the present Deputy Speaker, conceded to him so that we have a clear and clearer contest in the House. And I want also to him to draw back to 2015 when we run against Dogara. I am sure Baja will recall that I am one of the prompt agitators of Baja Biamena in Yobe and in the Northeast. In the Northeast. And he knows how we struggle. Even for him to become the House leader, it was a very serious problem for us. Because some gangs, some cabal have blocked us that Baja cannot be a House leader. There and then we worked. It took us very serious issue before even the presidency accepted that Baja should be the leader. And I wonder why. In just less than 4 years, you just came out of this. You are now a speaker. I'm expecting him to make consultation. If he wants Abbas, let him consult. Let him consult with all the other aspirants. Let them sit down on table. Not
okay.
just come in. here and say this is what. If he talks of, if he's thinking about Northwest have brought 30% on the table for Aswaju. I'm a member of contact. I'm a secretary member of Contact Mobilization Northeast, Presidential Tinubu Shatima Presidential Campaign, dissolved Tinubu Shatima Presidential Campaign Council member. I'm a leader in that. That's all. He should look at it that Atiku comes from the Northeast. Atiku is from the Northeast, and we in the Northeast. If you're looking at the percentage, doesn't he know that we contributed a lot from the Northeast for Atiku not to even give us a very wide margin, for us to contain the might of Atiku, who was a vice president and a presidential aspirant for many times in the Northeast. But we stood ground and defended the democracy, defended Tinubu's ideal. And we know Aswaju is a party man. Aswaju is a man of equity. He doesn't want somebody to be oppressed. He doesn't want lopsidedness. He wants free and fair democracy, and he wants to defend democracy at all costs. And I'm sure with the type of president we have, very much sure and very much happy that Aswaju will work into this and will come out with a better solution, inshallah.
Okay, let me bring on Easy in Yenagoa. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yeri.
Thank you for calling in.
Today's program is really in the front burner. This issue of speakership, Senate President have lingered for all. Though the issue with the Senate President have almost been resolved, but the speakership issue has been there. You know, the National Assembly presently, for the last 20 years, do not have a kind of rainbow coloration. You have 7 political parties in the National Assembly, although the party has, APC has majority. But I want to speak to the conscience of the leaders of this country, the leaders of APC. If it's difficult for us to conduct election for 200 and something million Nigerians, why is it difficult that for 300 and something persons representing the federal constituency, they can't go into that hallowed chambers and do a peaceful election that will represent the configuration and feelings of Nigeria? Leadership is something that has to do with the people. So sad and very unfortunate that the North Central, which produces most of the Senate presidents in the past, who have not gotten speakership and who currently in the current configuration of zoning now did not get any position, despite the fact that 4 states out of the 6 states voted massively for the ruling party. So they should consider how to placate the North Central, because it's so funny, we're in 6 geopolitical zones with a power sharing formula. Northwest will now have 2 out of the 6 positions. It's not fair. We should begin to balance power in this country and begin to look at how we can make all sectors of the country look happy. Because we are talking about a government today that Nigeria has been so polarized, where 133 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line, 20 million children are out of school. We are talking about inclusiveness. We are talking about carrying everybody along, which is the cornerstone of democracy. So we should begin to look at how everybody, I know the president-elect, with his vision and his magnanimity, has a very large heart. I don't want to conclude that what they have zoned will be what will fall out in the floor of the House. The president-elect knows politics very well, has been in the tunnel for a long time. You understand the dynamics. He knows what is good for this country. He should use his vision, his wisdom to ensure that all the 6 geopolitical zones have one positions moving forward, so that Nigerians can look at the government as an all-inclusive government. We are talking, look at what is happening presently in the presidential election tribunal. You see the direction. You look at all the waves. We need to be able to sincere in our leadership. Political leaders should be sincere in their vision. They should be seen to do exactly what they speak. It should be seen in their action. It's very unfortunate that our leaders at this level cannot do things that will improve the lives of Nigerians. Look at our debt burden. We're talking about over 70-point-something trillion naira foreign loan. A government that made just 12 trillion naira when it came in. You begin to look at the out-of-school children. You look at the unemployment rate. You look at the poverty. Then you begin to know that our leaders need to wake up. They need to think outside the box. It's not just waiting for federal allocation at the end of every month. They go there, sign allocation. They should begin to look at how they can be able to be very pragmatic, very dynamic, and very resourceful, because we need to grow our economy. We need to grow our political system. We need to increase our capacity. Look at the institutions. We have institutional problem moving down the line where we build big individuals and they control small institutions. The institutions are supposed to be greater than the people. So moving forward, we should be able to talk to the National Assembly. They are men of caliber. They should be able to reason. They should think properly. They should be able to vote those persons institutions that can be able to work. Because I don't envy the next administration, because there's a lot.
Okay. Well, easy there from Bayelsa State. He's also quite heated on the point of fairness, justice, equity, as you said. But just before we'll shortly have to go on a break, Honorable, but the point that was made earlier by the caller just before Izzy about the National Assembly, the members-elect, of the House of Reps should be allowed to, come up with their own leader, as it were. Now, on that point, it'll be interesting to hear what you think. Whereas we know how it is, but surely no party can actually not be interested in how things are going. Indeed, might even want to make suggestions, and I think I use that word advisedly, suggestions as to what might be the best for the party and for the country, even though it is causing this controversy.
As far as I'm concerned, member-elect are the people who are going to elect their own leaders at the end of the day. And I want us to be mindful that all those members-elect are people of caliber, people that represent the whole country, people that come out from different federal constituencies, different cultural background. They know what is good for Nigeria and what is good for themselves, because the leadership is for themselves, for the country, and for themselves. So as far as all what we are saying, we are just bungling. But at the time we pop into the chamber, the hallowed chamber, members are allowed to use their number 6, to use their intellect, to choose the best leaders for themselves. So it's better right from the word go. We started on a very good notion by making the party to know that all this, they are just anointing, they are just trying to share it according to those. Now it is now left for members to choose those that the party has done, because the party goes to geopolitical zone, not to individual. Just like it has been done this time around. It has never been done zone to individual, but it has been done to particular zone. Then that zone, the caucus will sit down and choose among the aspirants who are those people that can stand the test of the time. And that was how things are done. But I'm advising, my own advice on this is that parties should always consider that we are dealing with member-elect. We are dealing with those that know their right. Those people that their constituents send them to the hallowed chamber to come and represent them in Nigeria. To come and represent them in Nigeria. So we should be mindful of various agitations from various zones. So imagine we cannot skip North Central just anyhow like that and overload a particular zone. It can't be possible.
All right.
So that's my sincere advice, that we should resent on it. I'm very sure the party leadership are men of integrity. They listen, and they know the Constitution of Nigeria that talks about federal character, equity,
let's take that
equal sharing. Thank you.
I hear what you've said. Okay, welcome back to this conversation we're having this morning with Honorable Ismail Gadaka, who is a former member in the House of Representatives representing the Fika-Fune Federal Constituency. As you know, sort of strong support is coming. You know, the Nasarawa State helmsman has said that we will, back Akpabio Abbas. That's the governor speaking there. And it is a delicate issue because you are making the case, Honorable, for North Central. As you put it, paraphrasing you, North Central cannot just be left out like that in the interest of fairness, and you've explained it. You explained how people worked, and that if it is going to be about what the Northwest brought to the table, you are making the point that other areas, other people worked assiduously, and the efforts shouldn't be, I think, slighted, is the impression I got from what you said. The suggestion that has been made, do you think we have the time? Because they say, what, 1 day is a long time in politics. So you probably think that we still have a time for the leadership of the party, National Working Committee, the president-elect. We still have the time to, from your point of view, make this right? Because more and more people seem to be saying that, look, we see what the leadership of the party is doing, and we will go with them. Necessarily, that will hurt some people. But do you think we can still get a rapprochement on this?
Yeah, I'm very much confident that we still have time. We still have time. The parties still have time to make amends, to reconsider their position and do the needful. As far as National Assembly election, even a day or 2 days is enough. It's enough to take a decision, and it's going to be done. And it's going to be done. So there is nothing like time is not against us. We can always take decision. So as far as I'm concerned, before the president proclamation of the National Assembly election, things can change.
The needful can be done.
Issue of time, as I'm very much sure that anything can be done. So,
okay.
If you look at the
I beg your pardon. You continue, sir. Let me bring in a caller who has been waiting for a while. So sorry about that. Mr. Joshua in Irewolede, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Uncle Yori, good morning, and good morning to the Honorable. Uncle Yori, I'm a bit bothered, so bothered, and I think we can come out of this situation. Unfortunately, I need the House of Rep members and the senators-elect to understand that there will never be fairness in terms of all these things, because they are talking about geopolitical zones and all this, and there are individual interests in all these matters. The problem with us is that our politicking is so monetized that people have spent so much money to win their elections. So the point now is how these appointments will go to settle the debts that they have. So we have big issues that are beyond the geopolitical zones they are talking about. But I want to appeal to their conscience and to the conscience of Nigeria and the president-elect. Buhari is about going now. Buhari is being insulted everywhere, and everybody is saying that his government failed. It is not the government of Bajabiamila. It is not the government of Senate President. All of them are like saints. It is Buhari everybody is calling. Now it's going to be the same thing with Tinubu. This man is coming in, he has a government, he has a program. Have they even considered, all these people, that they need friends, they need people who understand the program of the president-elect to execute those programs? So that at the end of the day, it is Tinubu that failed, not the speaker, not the Senate president. I know there is the importance of fairness, but for once, can we all bury our personal interest? Everybody in the House of Rep or Senate can be a leader, but can we discuss issues about how Nigeria governance can move to competence and stop being sentimental about so many things that we cannot solve? Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Joshua from Irewolede. That point that beyond the question of equity, fairness concerning our, regional divisions, which is a convenient, it's a device of convenience. But that point that was made, how would you react to that? That people are, standing on those particular kind of platforms, but that actually there's an investment approach to it too, in the sense that a lot of people have spent very, princely sums, and this might be beclouding the, bigger goal of, governance.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to draw our attention to how our president, first of all, come up. When Buhari anointed Senator Ahmed Lawan to be the anointed candidate of the party, what happened? It was the people. It was the people. The northern governors sat down and said, no, we can't. Buhari cannot do 8 years and he can still come back and do another. Somebody from the north cannot do 8 years. That is the question of fairness and equity that comes in. And Asuwaju was ready, and everybody knows that Asuwaju is the correct candidate for the job. And that was what happened. We insisted, Asuwaju insisted, all of us insisted that Asuwaju must be the candidate. There was a free and fair election. And Asuwaju won the ticket of APC at the end of the day. And when it comes to the general election, there are a lot of insinuation, a lot of threats that came out, but people resisted, and it showed that Asuwaju should be elected, and he won. Previously I told you how we in the Northeast depended on Asuwaju's interest, and brought him as president against Atiku, who planned a lot of things to be done in the Northeast. Well, we stood up, we stood ground and defended that. So also the same. It doesn't take away anything. I'm very much sure Asuwaju will look at it critically and come and allow democracy to take its course.
Okay, one moment, Honorable. Let me bring in Ada in Jos. Good morning, Ada.
Yori, good morning, Yori and your guest there. I don't know, they're calling from Jos Statistics. Mr. Yori, you see what? Let them have a robust and dialogue and consultation. Otherwise, I foresee a coup on the floor of that house during the election. I remember one of Shakespeare's quotes. It says there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. So when you force people, to, give up, they will have bad blood running in them. And then when they go for that election, it's their vote. They will decide on whom to vote for. So it's better to settle this thing amicably. And again, let us move away from this sense of assembly, to move away from the scenario that's featured in the Ninth Assembly, where every time we're talking about 95% and 5%, who brought in what, the vote and all whatnot. They can zone, but I've said that there's nothing wrong with zoning for equity and fair play. But what is wrong is micro-zoning into particular people, because it's going to be like cash and carry, but the cash and carry can fail them. They don't learn. They can still fail them. Somebody can take that money and still vote against it out of annoyance. So that is the problem. Once people are elected, they should see themselves working for Nigeria and not for their primordial sentiments. All the same, let's not give up on Nigeria. All that, man.
Thank you very much, Ada. Let me ask you, Honorable, the point that she brought up, that, look, people might be sufficiently incensed as to actually pull the equivalent, the political equivalent of a coup in the National Assembly. You get what we mean. Of course, we're not talking about a real coup. Is that, how much of a danger is that, or is that far-fetched?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying that the last speaker had inter alia said, if people, you don't know the minds of people, and if people are feeling aggrieved, they could very well go and act, say, okay, if it's going to be like this, then we will have our way. We are the people who can cast a vote. Nobody outside of this hallowed house can cast a vote. That would be the political equivalent of a coup. So I was asking, how much of a danger do you think that is, or is that a far-fetched notion?
Well, we don't pray for that, but for sure, for National Assembly is something that you cannot run away from it, because these are issues when things refuse to take its course, members will be forced to decide otherwise. So we don't want APC to run into that level, and that is why we are calling on the party to reconsider their position, But if you look at the antecedents of what happened in 2015 and what is happening right away, people are going on air that they have broke the jinx of this G7. But up to now, if you look at their appearances, you look at that they are intact. So we don't want a situation of political coup to happen in the 10th Assembly. And we will not allow that because this is our own party and this is our own country and this is our own president. And I'm sure Asuwaju is a master strategist. He's a master of defending democracy, and I'm sure he's going to work on it. He will look at it critically and come out with a better solution for us. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Yakub in Dokwemu, good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, very good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling.
And good morning to Honorable. You see, this matter, I think if the party hierarchy is not playing this game very well, I'm very sure the House of Representatives, they are going to elect their own leaders. And then I want to tell you, Chifiori, between me and you and the Honorable and the others and anybody that listens to this program this morning, how could you just suppose that? Somebody like us that even support this party, what the party hierarchy did is totally wrong, Chifiori. How could you give 2 seats to one region? Where is it done? Look at what, even the North Central, look at what they brought to the table. As I'm talking to you today, it is only North Central did better than Southwest in terms of the forces that given to Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But if I'm talking to you today now, they can boast of 5 governors from that very particular region. Now, the region that giving you 4 states, the LIFA 4 states, you don't give them anything. You see, the issue is this. I will hold the National Assembly, especially the House of Representatives. If the party leader does not do the needful, they should go ahead. Yes, I'm a supporter of APC, and then I will continue to support them. But in the place of where a situation whereby they did wrong, that is where we are loyalists, that is where we are party members. In fact, I want to use this opportunity to thank you very well, okay? Because this is the only situation that giving us opportunity. That will be our mind when the party doing wrong, because they may not know somebody like us, they may not even know Reverend Dominic and then Judge of Pewater and other people. We have this platform to be our mind. Now, I'm using this opportunity to tell all the House of Representatives members, if the party does not change their stand, they should go ahead and vote for whoever they like to become their leader, especially anybody that comes from the North Central. Thank you and God bless you.
Okay, then. Thank you, Mr. Yakub. Honorable Ismail Gadaka, that man was instigating, members-elect to go ahead and follow their minds, because he totally supports your point of view that there's a fairness aspect to this, and it's too much of an elephant in the room to pretend that there is nothing in the room. But you said earlier that you have confidence in your party and the leadership, the president-elect, that all is not lost. But that man was just instigating members-elect there.
I think members-elects are people of reputable characters, are people of integrity. They know what is good to be done. And I'm very well confident that all the caliber of members-elect that we have, they will reason and follow things logical to the conclusion. Before things are done that way, you have to exhaust all possible negotiation and contacts and lobby. If things fail, then members elect on their own, they can go and sit down and look at the best speaker for them and elect. But I'm sure it will not go to that extent. It will not go to that extent.
It's like everybody in your party, not just you politicians, but even supporters from outside, are sort of holding their breath and hoping that this can be resolved. But I would say personally it's gotten a bit more difficult in the light of it being explained that it wasn't an error. It hasn't been said, arrogantly, You heard Bajabia Miela speak there, but seeking to counsel and explain to people that there are factors that, you know, just like Mr. Yakub, who just called in, he doesn't agree, he's not going to buy that. Yet, he's a loyal party supporter. You know, I don't know if he's a member as well. But these are some of the people that have been supporting right through the years. They have been through the Buhari years. But he is now saying, go ahead and do the needful, if this is the way APC is going to go. So has it become a bit more difficult now that it is being said that Tinubu didn't make a mistake? Although it's not a Tinubu thing. It's really a House of Reps thing. But again, Tinubu would have an input in it.
Well, that statement made by Baja is his own opinion. It's his own opinion. It's not the opinion of the president-elect, because the president-elect maybe was misinformed. But going by what is happening, the happenings on the ground now, going by the political happenings, what is happening in the National Assembly, I'm very much sure the president-elect is watchful and is looking at things. He's looking at events that is taking place in this country as regards to National Assembly leadership. He can't just keep quiet, because he's the one that is going to steer the affairs of the country. So I'm very much sure Baja is going to be left with his own opinion, and the president-elect will look at something that is doable and broker peace among the contenders and come out with a better speaker of the House of Representatives, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Let me bring in Mazi Okorafor as our last caller. He's calling in from Arochukwu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. That's Arochukwu in Abia State. Well, to me, House of Rep Speakership should go to North Central. Reason, we have 6 geopolitical zones in this country. Everything must balance. I repeat, must balance. We should stop this issue of politics of winner takes all. It doesn't make politics to balance. Look at what is hitting, how the speakership and Senate presidency is hitting very, very hard. What are the presidential elections? Does it mean that everybody must be there? No. Balance the equation, equity and fairness is what we want in this country. Let us not, because this man did not vote for you, because this man did not bring vote for that. No, that is not politics. That is why I say we don't have sportsmanship in politics. What we have is winner takes all. It was down to my own, which is not healthy. Politicians in Nigeria should face the reality of life, know what is happening, know where the ball is rolling, so that to balance well, so that when we go to National Assembly, everything will be moving freely with it. But when we come back at the time we are going to Speakership and House of Senate President, we see having clashes start. You see that we are going to have what we call boxers and what? Karate people in the National Assembly. If they are doing this way, let us face reality of life, equity and fairness. Good morning, Mazi Okorafor from Arochukwu in Abia State.
Thank you, Mazi Okorafor, calling in there from Abia State. Well, Honorable, it's very much what you've been saying. I suppose, subject to, if you had any last few words, this is a place to leave it as we continue to watch the political horizon and see how your party reacts to this. Would you like to say some final words on this matter? You've been very clear on the fact that you don't think your party has done the best that it could have done in this situation.
I think I'm very much happy and very much sure that our party will sit down just like they did. Look at the time they called all the aspirants, the aggrieved aspirant. I'm expecting the party to call all the aspirants of the House of Representatives, sit down together, look at it critically, and decide on who to be and which zone to be considered to take the speakership position.
With all interested in the House of parties involved.
By doing that, all the aspirants, when they did it, the consultation is very key. As long as they did the consultation and it's not late, it's not yet late, they can still sit down and look at it critically and come out with a united position And most of them, if you look at their discussions, most of them are not averse to contact and consultations. So when things
We're going to have to leave it there.
In the interest of fairness, and justice, and no those is being left out, I'm sure the party will be good to go. And
okay,
I'm sure
that's a fine place to leave it.
The president-elect will also come and work in.
I think that's a fine place to leave it. And I want to thank you very much, Honorable Ismail Gadaka, for making time for us this morning. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's our program.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.